I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. Texas universities are under pressure to identify and disclose undocumented students. The Texas Higher Education Board sent a notice to all public universities citing a court's decision that forces undocumented students to pay out-of-state tuition. It's a big shift from years past, where they were eligible to pay in-state costs as long as they lived here. Meredith Haas spoke to local universities and a lawyer about student rights.
No, I don't think they have the right to just wholesale distribute this information.
Keith Altman at K. Altman Law, who fights for student and education rights, says universities could face problems as they work out how to comply with the latest demands from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. Reports say right now students don't have to provide proof of citizenship or disclosure of their social security number to apply for college. Altman says the federal law, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, could be undocumented students' biggest protection.
FERPA protects all students. I don't think it matters whether you're documented, undocumented. If you're here and you are a student, your records are protected.
Altman says students' residency status is separate from their eligibility for in-state tuition.
If they're in the state and they pay state income tax, that really is the basis for deriving in-state tuition.
University of Texas Systems responding to KENS 5 on behalf of UTS saying, to comply, students attending UT institutions who do not provide documentation to demonstrate that they are lawfully present in Texas will be charged non-resident tuition beginning in the 2025 semester. Texas A&M University of San Antonio says while monitoring related litigation, it is working with attorneys and key state officials to develop an appropriate plan to implement requirements of the order. Alamo Colleges says it is reviewing and evaluating our policies and procedures to remain in alignment with recent changes made to federal and state laws. Communication will be sent to students to provide avenues to help continue their educational journey.
Immigration status, that's a different battle for a different day, and I think they can work through that directly with the students.
Meredith Haas, KENS 5.
A man was found dead near a local highway by workers on the northwest side. Police say the man appears to be around 45 years old, and it does not appear that he suffered from any major trauma. Police say he was only wearing shorts when he was found. The medical examiner's office is working to determine the cause of death. A man accused of threatening, stalking, and attacking two women is headed to prison. Justin Woodling has a long criminal history. This week, a judge sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Earl Stoudemire has the story.
On May 30th of 2024, Comal County deputies say they found the woman outside bleeding with injuries to her face and chest. Deputies say the woman told them 43-year-old Justin Woodling did it and added how it wasn't the first time she was abused.
Woodling violating the protective order against the woman. Comal County prosecutors discuss Woodling's history, including past convictions for domestic violence in Texas and drug charges in Oklahoma. Taking into account Woodling's history, the judge sentenced Woodling to 35 years in prison. That history includes abuse allegations from an ex-wife and a former partner. Both had protective orders against him. His ex-wife reported him strangling her until she passed out. In another situation, she reported Woodling pushing her onto a couch, then pressing a sword against her neck until she couldn't breathe. When officers responded in this case, Woodling claimed self-defense. The other woman who got a protective order against Woodling says he would stalk her and send messages threatening to attack her.
If you know anyone going through an act or situation of domestic violence, please give the National Domestic Violence Hotline a call at 1-800-799-SAFE. Earl Stoudemire, KENS 5.
An apartment resident jumps from a second-floor balcony in a desperate attempt to escape a huge fire. Several people were injured. Rania Kaur has more.
3 people were hurt in the fire. The person who jumped from the second-floor balcony was taken to the hospital because of the injuries during that jump. 2 people were treated on scene for smoke inhalation. The fire was at an apartment complex on Barrington Street on the northeast side around 9:30 last night. The fire department says when fire crews got there, there was fire already coming out of the first and second floors of the building. They were able to get it under control fairly quickly.
Yeah, first and crews, did a very good job keeping it contained. It looks like 1 to 2 apartments the fire was contained to out of 8. So did a very good job. We did kill power and gas to the building, so all 8 apartments are without power and gas right now. That's why we'll work with apartment management and Red Cross if need be.
Right now, investigators are looking at unattended cooking as a possible cause.
A Bexar County deputy was involved in a crash on the southeast side. The sheriff's office says the crash involved at least one other car. Both vehicles were damaged. One person was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but it's unknown who was hurt. No word yet on what led up to the crash. The rush to clean up flood damage continues. Engineers are also studying what can be done in the future. The concern, all the debris left behind in creeks and drainage that could cause even more damage. Sue Kalberg has more.
One of the challenges is big debris. This stuff acts like missiles, slamming into infrastructure and even into Mother Nature.
That litter is being buried straight into our environment, our ecology, and along the way, it's affecting our wildlife. So not only our soil health, our water health, our animal health, our mental health, it's a crisis. Ripping vegetation out, damaging trees, and sometimes causing blockage that can lead to more flooding and public safety issues.
Blank says because taxpayers have invested millions of public dollars in hike and bike trails on our creeks, taking care of this natural refuge is a must.
You know, it doesn't make sense to build a beautiful home and then use it as a landfill.
The nonprofit River Aid San Antonio is working with the city in a public-private partnership. In the last 9 months, they say more than 1,000 loads, totaling almost 3,000 tons of debris, has been hauled off. While some can be removed with machines, much of the work in isolated, rough terrain has to be done by hand.
Piece by piece, everyone has to go out one at a time.
They need help with cleanups on waterways all over town.
So it's urgent. Come down to our next cleanup, get involved.
And that's the news in San Antonio.